All right. So before I get started, can everyone let me know if you can hear me? I have a few people on right now, so I want to make sure that I'm not speaking to myself. So if you let me know if you can hear me, and I'll get started. Okay, awesome. Welcome everyone to my first solo live. Okay, perfect. So apologize in advance if there are any hiccups or anything. This is my first solo one. I don't have really like the gist of how to work everything, but as time goes on, I'll make the improvements, and of course, I'll value the feedback um, before I make the next one. So what I'm going to do is I took a poll a while back on my channel, and I did like a top 10 of the questions. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer those top 10, and then I'll look in the comments and we'll diverse for a little bit. That'll be the theme of today. So the first question I have was, in your opinion, how much will the Doge Ethereum bridge affect the price of Doge? So in my opinion, I think that will be huge for Doge for a couple of reasons. I think the retail and Doge's community, they're going to be with Doge regardless. And then you have a part of the Ethereum community that will not consider investing in Doge as far as for right now. And then you have the institutions and then just general people, your Bitcoin community, and just general people who will say, oh, it's a meme, it's a joke, so we're not going to mess with Doge right now. And I think that this will add a lot of I guess teeth to Dogecoin, and it'll attract it and make it more appealing to a broader market. So I think that as far as for Doge being taken seriously, like in the main aspect, and like having a lot of the other communities um, pretty much have like that bridge as far as with Dogecoin, I think that it'll be attractive to a broader audience. So I think that Dogecoin in itself, that will have a major effect on the price. As far as a prediction for that, that's tough. I don't like putting numbers out there unless I'm like really confident or I have some type of chart or history to kind of back me up. But I can say I believe it'll be positive and in the upward direction. So I'll say that. The next question was, will the wallets dropping on Robinhood send crypto into a bull run? And what does wallets dropping mean for crypto in general? Well, we have wallets already on Robinhood. I don't think it'll necessarily send crypto into a bull run, but I do believe that it'll, for Robinhood, especially since they've gotten they received about 80+% of their revenue this year from crypto, in particular probably Dogecoin. Starting that, I think that short term it'll probably have a negative effect on Robinhood, because I believe a lot of people are still very upset for a number of reasons that earlier this year, and as soon as those wallets become available, they're out of here. So I wouldn't say go as far as to put like puts on Robinhood or anything. Long term, they may be okay, depending on how they handle the next few current events. But short term, this is going to hurt, because I still believe that a lot of people are very upset with Robinhood. And as soon as those wallets become available, it's going to be like a vacuum out of there. And you can like pretty much verify that just by going to Twitter, or well, not Robinhood's Twitter, but Vlad's Twitter. And you'll see every time you post about the wallets, you'll see it's pretty much assured that they're out of here as soon as those wallets become available. Let's see. Oh, September has been less than desirable, but moving forward, how do you see this year ending, and what my take be on the recent news surrounding crypto? So with September, this is, as you guys know, I'm really big on cycles. So with September, you just kind of look at history. So September, if you look back like over the last 30 years, I think that like 23, 24 of the last Septembers have been negative, or just pretty much downward trending months. And you got to think about what happens in September. Well, you have quadruple witching, you have the rebalancing of portfolios, you have your third quarter statements going out. So you have a lot of things going on in the month of September. So in particular with the um, rebalancing of portfolios, those quarterly statements go out, and this is the last quarter. You have the hedge funds, larger companies, that investment funds, they say, hey, we have to hit these quarterly goals. We have 3 months. So you'll see a lot of sell-offs and people pretty much trading around to kind of give themselves a better shot at hitting those goals if they're behind. So historically, September going into like October, you want those to be like your buying months, or that's the opportunity for you to get greater entries into positions that typically were, if they were like on a bull run during the summer or something like that, typically in September, you can use that as an opportunity to get a great entry. Um, in particular now, since we have a lot of stuff going on politically, um, with like the debt ceiling, there's like banks liquidity issues. There's a lot of information out there that can kind of give a good reason as to why things are down right now. So I wouldn't necessarily say like September is being less than desirable, or any particular reason that hedge fund, not the hedge funds, the S&P and everything is down. This is typically pretty normal. So especially going forward, we'll see there's many catalysts that can actually make the market go back down easier in the next few days, the next few weeks. So there's a lot of catalysts out there. What's the other question? Oh, the recent news surrounding Dogecoin. There's a lot of stuff going on there. I think that someone asked about like China banning crypto, and like the SEC, as far as for going forward, what does this mean? Are they going to like ban crypto and stuff like that? With the SEC, we're going to have to wait and see how they approach it. I don't think they're going to ban crypto, but I do expect regulation. And that's typically because crypto is growing way too fast. I think it took like 12 years for crypto to hit like $1 trillion. And if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, it was like maybe 6 months for it to hit 2 trillion. So when you are growing at that speed, you're going to get the attention of the United States government. So I don't expect crypto to be banned, but I do expect it to be regulated. And maybe we'll come out with the government crypto. I made a video on that a while back, but I do expect there to be some regulation. I believe that we're going to hear continuously on from the SEC as far as their standpoints on crypto going forward, especially with the rapid growth we've seen. Do I think Tesla will ever accept Dogecoin? I do. I think that's coming. I think it's in the works. I've made a lot of videos pertaining to why I think Dogecoin is going to has a lot of advantages as far as for trading and purchasing goods over something like Bitcoin. And I use the Tesla example a lot. It makes far more sense to purchase with Doge than Tesla. It's literally the purpose of Dogecoin as far as to be a currency. And Bitcoin is literally designed to be held. That's why it has scarcity value. So I think that even with Teslas, or just, it doesn't matter even if it was a Dodge or a Ford, it makes more sense to purchase with Dogecoin. I think that when he makes that adjustment, he'll see a better response as far as for purchasing coins with crypto when he does one with something like a Dogecoin. Future of Bitcoin price predictions. Any concern on the government stepping in and regulating the crypto market? Wow. A future price of Bitcoin. I believe Bitcoin is certainly going to be in 6 figures. And I think that Bitcoin is going to continuously hit all-time highs, and eventually we'll all be trading Satoshis when it comes to Bitcoin. I think that Bitcoin is, they have, like top of the mind awareness when it comes to the crypto market. Like when you think of crypto, you think of Bitcoin. They're the face of crypto. Like Bitcoin is to crypto what Coca-Cola is to soda. So when you say, okay, like soda or pop or wherever you're from, you're going to think of Coca-Cola. Like they're the face of the market. So I think that when it comes to institutions, or as the price goes up, you're going to see more people piling into Bitcoin, and especially as we get closer to the end of that 18 million supply, 21 million supply. Whether I'm not even sure what the supply is, but once you get to like I think it's 18 million, but once you get to that hard closer to that hard cap, you're going to see like the price action we're seeing right now. I think it's going to get much more volatile once we get closer to pretty much like there's no more Bitcoin being mined. Like I think that's when you're going to see some serious price action. So as far as we're putting a top price on it, I can't. But six figures easily, possibly seven figures as time goes on and stuff like that. But I think that Bitcoin has a lot of has a bright future ahead of itself. So I did a consolidation video on what I think would happen to like all of these new cryptos that are popping up, and I definitely think that Bitcoin will be one of the ones that survives the crash. So let's see. This is an AMC question. Okay, so will AMC ever squeeze massively, or will they continue to short the stocks out of nowhere? No, I believe AMC will squeeze. I still have my AMC shares. I think it's a lot of manipulation in the market, and I think that we're seeing the manipulation both in the stock market, and of course that's going to trickle over into the crypto market as well. So that's why you have stocks that rise and fall together, because most of the stock market is going to be held by a few hedge funds, but they're controlled by a few people. And you're going to see the same thing in the crypto market. The difference is in the crypto market, it's still relatively new. So you have an opportunity for the little guys to kind of build up momentum and, get into positions early before you have like the waves come in. So that's why like the crypto market, I feel, has been very rewarding for this year. Dogecoin price prediction for the end of the year. Great question. There is a lot of catalysts and things that's going on right now. I still believe that first of all, I still believe that despite the all-time high, I still believe that we will have like a massive sell-off around the dollar range, probably in that 90 cents to $1 range. I think we'll have a massive sell-off. But at the end of this year, that's tough. There's a lot of unknowns out there right now. I would still like to see a rally in crypto altogether and still have us at least at the dollar range. So there's a lot of unknowns on that. I think I'll keep answering that question as we go on and get the answers to some of the statements that we have here. But I think that this year will certainly, I think that nothing has happened as far as like in the market to kind of like stabilize and say that, Dogecoin won't break its all-time high this year or anything. I don't think nothing that bad has happened just yet, but I'll follow that question and keep updating on that. The lowest you feel AMC can go before the short squeeze occurs? Great question. I discussed this with my group over the past week. So if you look at the momentum of the stock and as far as for when they short the stock down and then we rally back up. So this week confirmed the 8th time that we have a higher low. So I don't know if I've been in for a while. I posted my positions. I started buying at around like the $8 range, but it went all the way down to like $1.96 or something. And after every run up, it'll go to like 10 and then take it down to $1. It'll go to 15, it'll come back to 5, it'll go to 20, come back to 10, 18, come back to 12, and such, and pretty much consistently. So the time before this past week, it went to 72, obviously, and then we had the correction or the manipulation down to 29. That was the floor. Of course, we rallied back up to 52, and we went down, I believe, to 33 recently. And this is the 8th consecutive time that we've seen a higher low when the stock runs up. So what you're having is the amount of people that are continuously buying and pouring into the stock is pushing the stock up. So you have like that wall of 72 here. And then what you're doing is you're the stock is hitting new highs, but every time it goes down, it's condensing the momentum, especially if they're refusing to move that 72, that high of 72. So we're here at 33, we're at 29, and we came back down to 33, and we're going to keep doing this until they're going to be forced to, unless the SEC or something steps in. But you'll see that that pressure build up when they'll be forced to um, move the wall up. That's just my opinion and my observation. But those are facts. What I said earlier, as far as for the higher lows, and this is the eighth consecutive time. Those are facts, and it's my opinion that they're going to have to move the wall up. So that's my thoughts on that. My top 5 to 10 cryptos for long term. Um, for the most part, I'm long term by default, like, cause it's hard to beat the market. I don't believe in shorting the market like that or having puts. It's to me, it doesn't make sense to have a negative position on something that's historically average of 10% in the positive. So I don't believe in holding like those long positions. I do have positions that I trade, but historically I am long, especially when it comes to crypto. Um, Crypto is what I consider in its infancy stages. So I think that a lot of these coins, even now, people are complaining about um, the price actions at these little 20% dips and these corrections or whatnot. But I think 5 to 10 years from now, we're going to see who's who, and these prices, if you were able to get them again, would be very attractive. So we're printing money like crazy. More money is going to come into the crypto sector over time. So I think that this $2.1 trillion valuation that we have on crypto is only going to go up. I think that if you have your favorite cryptos, you should um, hold on to them and consider taking just if you, depending on your position. But obviously, if you believe in them, can just hold your positions and accumulate. I think that over time, I think the crypto market is going to be very um, profitable. My favorite cryptos, obviously Doge. I like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, um, ADA, of course. I have some Shiba. Probably should have bought more after the recent rise, but those are my crypto investments. So I my plan is never going to be less than like 5 years. So I don't chase any of the stocks. I had a conversation with that today. I post the videos as far as like my cycles and as far as putting money in and investing on the corrections. So when I see Bitcoin, Shiba rallying, Doge rallying, and it's all happening simultaneously, I know what that is. So what I'm typically going to do is just watch, wait for the correction and stuff like that. But I don't chase, and it just really just depends on your strategy. Like, because you can certainly jump in and make money. I'm not saying it's impossible, but for me, I don't typically do that. I typically do my research and take my positions when things are in the correction period. So all things have consolidations. They have their runs. They have their peaks. It's absolutely normal. I've did a lot of talk about this with when it comes to um, like Bitcoin and stuff like that. You'll see it's normal in history um, for you to hit like an all-time high and to have a correction and sit there for months at a time. There were times that I think I put it in one of my videos that Bitcoin consolidated and it sat there for 9 months. So when you have conviction in your stocks, you're going to have to be prepared for that. So not everything is just going to go to the moon. We're not going to have a continuous bull market. You're going to have to, do your due diligence and have patience, just like you would in the stock market. So it's kind of going to look out for that. Crypto cycles. Yeah, I made a few videos on crypto cycles, and typically you have like your catalyst, and you'll have like your institutional money, and then you'll have the retail sector. Well, the retail sector will typically come in first. What'll grab the attention of the institutions. Then you'll have FOMO, and then you'll have like your correction. Typically, always in um, the cycle at some stage. And my thing is now what we have is, pretty much trying to decide, okay, well, is this the institutional money or is this going to be the catalyst or the rise that we're seeing this week? Is this the one that's going to push us to an all-time high? And that's difficult to say. Like I said, we have a lot of liquidity that's going on in the markets right now, and I would be foolish to say that it's impossible for um, banks or even like hedge funds to pump money into crypto to try to raise money. Like I would be foolish to say that that's like beneath them or something like that. So I can't say with any run that that's going to be the particular one that's going to break all of the all-time highs. But I can say that I posted a meme on my community section with SpongeBob. I said that you can't necessarily predict the market, but when you have the conviction and you're long term and you hold, typically you will outperform and that'll be rewarding. I think that a lot of the issue is people get in trouble is they'll over leverage and they'll try and time it. And I think that's where you're going to get in trouble at, especially when it comes to cycles. As far as like a correction or in crypto, crypto is relatively new. We're just seeing the major catalyst as far as for the major expansion on crypto. So these, all I have is the charts in history that has already happened before. Now, things can fall back into those charts in history, or maybe things can change because crypto is, growing and it's expanding. There's a lot more people in it. But as far as for the correction amount that I saw with Bitcoin, and I said that even when Dogecoin was in a bullish, it's pretty much in it's still in its bullish, its first bullish stage. I said look out for the correction of 50 to 85%, and that turned out to be true. So that's one of the things that held over. And you'll see this kind of remain true as long as Bitcoin will be the catalyst for the crypto market. So you'll see a lot of that going forward. So I think that pay attention to the cycles, review those videos, and it'll add some clarity for you. So I think that this will, knowing the cycles and going over as far as where to get in, I think that it'll be very beneficial to you. So those are the top 10 questions that I have. So let's see. I'm going to go through the comments here. If you have any questions, feel free. I'm going to go through the comments here and see them. But if you have any questions, feel free here and I'll chime in if I feel like I can provide value for you. What is FOMO? FOMO is fear of missing out. So that's pretty much when you said Dogecoin is trash, it's not going anywhere, and then it starts shooting up and you say, oh my God, I'm going to buy in. And you buy in right before the correction. You buy at a high, sell at a low, blame everybody else, and start posting comments saying it sucks. And then it rallies again, and then you repeat your cycle and lose money by selling at high. And you pretty much you buy high and sell low. That's pretty much what FOMO is going to lead to. Will government regulation bring a significant bear market? It depends on the regulation. Yeah, I have no idea what type of regulation can come forward. I know that this is the first time. I'm not saying that. Well, I mean, potentially it can be a threat as far as to the dollar and how we exchange things, but I don't, especially here in the U.S. I'm not sure where you're from, but there hasn't been another currency that's been, dominant, or, they kind of have to prepare for that. Like, what if people say we're going to trade in a cryptocurrency, preferably to the dollar? Like, how do you hedge that? How are they going to get taxes out of that? That they're going to, they're thinking about all of these things. So I think that it just depends off of what type of regulation comes forward, because it's a lot of that can go a lot of different ways. But if they come up with something crazy or strict or some type of aggressive crypto tax, you can best believe it's going to have a negative effect on the crypto market. Can Doge hit $1 by end of year? Yeah. I haven't seen anything crazy that would happen to say that it's impossible to hit it or there's some super hindrance or anything, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. My take on Shiba. I mentioned like a few weeks ago, I was actually going to take a position in Shiba, so I guess kind of got kind of lucky. But yeah, Shiba. I mean, I'm not like in love with Shiba, but I mean, it's made money, so obviously, I'm an investor, so that's the whole point. But um, I'm optimistic for like the future of crypto in general. So I think that before we have a massive consolidation, I think that some of the main catalysts, like your Doge, your Ethereums, your Bitcoins, and your Shibas, I think they're going to have great runs before we have a consolidation of the crypto market in general. So, what are my thoughts on Cardano? I like Cardano. I'm very, very bullish on Cardano. I like them a lot, and I think that over the next 5 to 10 years, I think it's going to provide some massive returns. I like Cardano a lot. Are there any other cryptos? Yeah, I named them Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, obviously, Litecoin, Cardano, and I have some Shiba. So those are the ones I'm invested in. So um, I like them. So XRP, I've never looked into them heavy enough to give an opinion because I don't like expanding too broadly. I kind of like I have like my long-term portfolio or your indexes, and I have like my 5 stocks, five maybe 10. Even then, that's a little high. But now I have my cryptos that I focus on, but I don't expand too much. So XRP won't be. I can look into it and possibly just report back like on my community page or something that I find if I think it's interesting, but I haven't looked into it, especially not as an investment. In the future, would I sell my cryptocurrencies like retirement? What is my age time frame to pull liquidity? Um, I mean, at some point, I'll take profits. Like I said, I just expect to there to be like a 5 year, 10 year point as far as for like holding and stuff like that. But yeah, at some point, I'll take profits. That's not um, like I don't make like donations to cryptocurrencies or even stocks. So my age time frame limit, I haven't put it out there yet because I just consider them long term as of right now. But I probably say sometime within the next 5 years or in the next 5 years. So I think that I've made some sound choices. So either before then or especially during that time, I think that I'll have a great return if I needed the money or if I wanted to transfer to something else. I could, but yeah, I haven't had like a set time frame or not necessarily for retirement, but that all depends on taxes and everything too. So we got some massive inflation going on right now. So that's part of being an investor. You have to remain flexible. What do I think about the graph? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Do I think Shiba will go up year over year? Yeah, this year, yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't. I looked at the numbers earlier today. It was over 80% buying, and so most people were buying and holding. So I think year over year it'll go up, and that's one of the benefits of being in crypto. I think crypto is in its infancy stages, so that's why I think that if you hold, despite the craziness and the madness that you're seeing in the short term, I think that more money will flow into the crypto market, and I think that the people that have these early positions, I think that they will be rewarded. So just find something that you're convicted with, get you a decent sized position based off of your capability, and hold on. Um, oh, sorry, my feed refreshed, so it pushed everything up. Um, let's see. Will Doge be burned like Ethereum was? Great question. I don't know. That's kind of hard toss up because I answered the Doge Ethereum bridge earlier, and there's a lot of variables into that. Like, will this be the Dogecoin we have now, or will there be like a Doge 2.0 or something like that, where that has the conversion, or the will that be a bridge like on a separate platform? Those are all uh, it's a great question, but it's a variable, so that's something we don't know. Yeah, so that's something we'll kind of have to like track and see going forward. But they may have a bridge, or maybe even a consolidation, like a reverse split or something like that. I mean, it's a lot of things that I don't know, that's like the devs or stuff they can do. So um, it's possible. So I can say that, but I can't. I don't have any information to speak on that with any kind of certainty. How can one take profit strategically without completely selling a specific asset? Well, you have your so you have like your DCA and the it's been, like I said, if you're not adding to it continuously, what you can do is pretty much like technically, I guess you can say like a form of like scalping, but you can have like a like what some people are doing now with AMC. They got in early when it was like $1, and they have 5,000, 10,000 shares, and it's appreciated so much that they can, if they need the money and they don't want to sell those shares, they can say, okay, well, I'm going to take profits, and this will also kind of help me remove my house money, but also kind of keep me in just in case, because I believe there's going to be more gains. And they have like a set amount that they're going to liquidate every month, regardless. So, if it's like 100 shares a month, 150 shares a month, and they just do that, even though they have like 5 or 6,000 shares. So that way, they still have a strong position. They're going to realize a lot of those gains if there's like a bull run in between. But they're also, they're in the green, so they're not technically losing money, but they're pulling money um, out of their stock. So, and you can always say that at this stage, at this number, I'm going to pull out my house money, or you can do it over time and then just let the rest go. Or if it hits this number, I'm good. I just want 100%, 150%. You're going to have to decide what's great for, what's best for you. But, that there's many ways you can do that. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to go in order, but the chat keeps getting pushed up. Um, was that Kuma Inu? I didn't know anything about that. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just know that the market in general, crypto market in general, is going up. So again, just remember like the cycles when you see, but they're going to trend together regardless, because retail, not retail, the major factors in the crypto market as well as in the stock market, I believe, is controlled by institutions. So they'll kind of trail each other. So just be careful especially when you see runs. It's better to have your conviction, do your due diligence, and buy on correction periods or on reversals, so that you are not necessarily putting yourself at risk to buy at the high and you have to sit in the red for months at a time. So I think that's what's bothering a lot of people. That's trading my full-time job. Yep, I work for me and me only. So um I have working on like some properties and stuff like that. I know I got to do an update for that as well, but I probably won't build anything. Well, I know I'm not going to build anything this year, even with the price of lumber and stuff that really threw everything back. But I'm going to post an update on like the real estate sectors, and maybe even do like some shadowing with some builders and stuff like that, so that we can maybe even go live there, so we can answer some questions. So but as of right now, yeah, just full-time investments, YouTube, of course, and that's all of it for now. I have some plans to do like some expansions, I have a few projects in the works, so I'll announce those at some point. Let's see. No problem, Henry. Was it Neaton? Hello. Let's see. You think my super chats off? Yeah, I don't know how to do any of that stuff. I'm not too worried about it in particular. I'll figure out how everything is worked out later. So if you have any questions, just post it in here. Let's see. Is it still worth buying Dogecoin now? Yep. I still believe I haven't lost any type of conviction for Doge just yet. Most investors got in January and February. Yeah, for Doge, yeah. Well, I don't want to say most investors. I know a lot of people got in January and February. I think I post. Well, I know I posted my first Dogecoin purchase. It was like January 28th. Um, I would say most people got in at that time frame because I think more people kind of got in as it was. Well, it's based off of the data I receive on my channel and people telling me their DCAs and stuff like that. Either people averaged up a lot or they kind of got in late as like Dogecoin was like trending. They kind of got in late in the cycle as Dogecoin was like trending and stuff like that. So I think that a lot of the coins are held from earlier in the year because they were like dirt cheap. But to answer the question as far as for selling off or as far as for tax, I mean, it's possible. That'll be a great catalyst to kind of see for the market. Are we going to have some massive sell-offs? I think that'll be very great as far as for chart projections and stuff going forward. Um, it's possible. I don't have any type of data or anything to speak from with certainty to say that's going to happen, but it makes sense. So I think that it's possible that we can see some sell-offs after that point. But I think that for the most part, um, the people that didn't have great conviction or the people that needed the money, they probably have already sold by now. But that is a great question. That's something that we can certainly look forward to finding out, especially for future projections. So, excellent question, JC. Let's see. Top five stocks. What I guess. Well, because there's two there. I have two different sides to my portfolio. I have like plays, like I consider AMC like more of like a play, and then I have like my long term positions. But I like all the major catalysts and the companies that are going to do that I think are going to do extremely well. I like your Apples, your Microsofts, your Amazons. I like all of the bigger ones. I like those are going to be like my top ones. I believe they're going to perform well over time. And then of course there's like your short term plays and stuff. So I'm not sure which positions, but my top five ones are going to be like the larger companies because I think that they're going to be major catalysts as far as for pretty much like not only propelling the economy and that I don't think that they're going to go anywhere despite what goes on in the short term. So I have to say those are going to be my favorite. Costco too, I like them. So let's see. If you purchase the same crypto several times a year, does it restart? Um, I think that your execution, you're pretty much your buy and your sell orders are going to determine the part. I don't think they're going to. I haven't from as I've never seen. I'm not sure where you are, but I've never seen a company group them together as one thing and pretty much restart cycle. So, if you bought X amount in that year, and you executed X amount in the same year, that will trigger your positions and stuff like that. So they have, um, you're going to calculate it based off of your gains and your loss inside of that particular your stock. So whether or not you took a profit is going to be the factor that determines whether what you've been get what you get taxed on. That's going to be the deciding factor. Not necessarily the entry point matters, but um, if you took a profit and it's within that same year, that's typically going to outweigh everything. 26,000 Dogecoins and an average of 30 cents. Should I keep waiting? I guess the question would be like waiting on what? So if you're long term or short term, you're going to, if you're long term, well, either or, but if I always say I'm really big on averaging down. I've mentioned that several times because having a low DCA or a DCA current that's equal to the current price, it just gives you options. So what you're going to want to do is, if it's 30 cents or whatnot now, you can, because it's kind of close now, it'd be difficult to average down. So I made a video as far as for averaging down, and I put a calculator out there. So the issue is, and this is another issue you have with when people say buy the dip. So when you buy the dip, and if you're not doing it at a cost effective range, it's going to take a lot of money to bring your average down. So if you're, like right now you're at 30 cents. I think the last time I looked at Doge, it was like 25 cents. So you're going to take a lot of coins to bring your DCA down. So that's why whenever I see Doge dip down into the teens, the how much up? Funny, I don't hold any up coin. That's when you see Doge dip down into the teens. I'm always saying, hey, you should pretty much buy here or whatnot, because most people have a DCA that's above that right now. So the wider the gap between your current price and the wider gap between the current price of the coin and your DCA, the easier it is to average down. So when you see a buy the dip and it's like 2%, you're gonna spend a fortune to get that DCA down. So just kind of keep that in mind. But if you're long term, now or probably say just wait because it's too close. But if you're long term, coin count is going to matter the most. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you're long term, then obviously you have the conviction to increase your position or have that monthly set amount. So just keep that in mind. Let's see. Fats only buy the dips at 20% or more. Smart. Let me scroll up. AWOL, I answered your question. That was one of the first ones. Yeah, I answered it, but I don't think it's going to have an effect on the long term. Robinhood will probably get screwed short term because I know people are still upset, but long term, we'll see how Robinhood does. There's a lot of catalysts out there. Why is ADA not moving? You see, the thing, because I don't get me wrong, I like ADA. I'm very optimistic. When you have these moves as far as for in the market, and the market is moving in one direction, and even sometimes you can see it, you can line up all the different cryptocurrencies and you can see them, and they're like the pattern is identical. You have to understand that a lot of people, and you see this too a lot of times with Dogecoin, they'll be like, oh my God, like Bitcoin is killing it right now. Dogecoin is barely moving it, barely moving. You have to understand that a bunch of retail people didn't get together at 3 p.m. and decide to inject, 30 billion into crypto. That's not us. So you have to understand that if a certain crypto is not moving, or if it's not responding as aggressively, because typically they'll all respond, you have to say, okay, that's not one that they the institutions that they allocated a lot of money to. And we've seen this several times with Dogecoin. And I've seen it, people saying, oh my God, Doge is barely moving. And then now it's being really aggressive. Okay, they decide to put more money into Dogecoin, or more people are deciding to pull in. So you just kind of got to kind of weigh that out before you. It doesn't necessarily mean anything that's wrong with ADA, but I'm definitely bullish on ADA. So and institutions, they have their part in the cycle, but I wouldn't say let it make or break your decisions as far as for that crypto. So I'd say if it's not moving, especially not this cycle, if it's not going to be as aggressive, then you might want to consider increasing your position. I know a lot of people wish they did that with Dogecoin, especially when it dropped down to around 16 cents. Shiba and Upcoin are in the same boat. I don't think, I don't know. People have been, because I think someone said that Upcoin is different now or something like that. I don't know. I haven't looked into it. I probably should. I'm seeing a lot of comments about it, but I own Shiba, but I don't know enough about Upcoin to do like a comparison to say that they're in the same boat or something like that. That'll be something I'll have to look into. Will I give out the stock cryptos and buy and sell signals in Patreon? Yeah, I'm working on the my entries or whatnot, because I think that now is great. I believe I gave you the big ones for Apple and stuff already. So yeah, I'll definitely put that together. I heard Upcoin's a scam. Yeah, because the situation that happened earlier this year, I don't know. I've heard that it's different now. They got a bunch of new people on it, and I don't know how that works as far as for the vision of the coin and stuff like that. If the original people are not on board, but I haven't looked onto it. But that's why I haven't said anything as far as recommending people to it or whatever the case may be. I would have to do a lot of research, but I don't, or have I never owned any of those coins. Hmm. No, I think AMC is still a good buy, especially at these prices. So I still have conviction about AMC. Yeah, I think Tesla will accept Doge. Absolutely. Do I think Doge will hit $2 this year? It's a lot of catalysts out there that I would possibly be a stretch. I don't know. Anything's possible as far as for if we have liquidations and people start looking, institutions and stuff start looking to push money into, but that would take a lot of money into the crypto sector, and we've seen it before, so it's not impossible. But there's a lot of catalysts as far as for regulations, the economy, debt ceilings. There's a lot of stuff out there that can swing this market any direction. So it's a lot of variables out there now for me to say that with any type of conviction. Do I feel Shiba is a scam? No, I have a small position in Shiba, so I wouldn't say it was like a scam. I do believe that there's going to be a consolidation in the crypto market. I think that some of the earlier ones are going to have very strong runs before we have the consolidation of the crypto. So Shiba was certainly a early adapter. So I think that it'll have a run as well. Hmm. What about $1? Dogecoin go higher if it has utility. Yeah, I made a video about AMC accepting Dogecoin and that being one of the major catalysts as far as for moving forward. So I'll do a brief recap here because I think that's very important. So now you have the situations where the institutions and the larger wallets or stuff like Robinhood and them piling, Doge and stuff like that into smaller. They're pretty much going to be the whales of the market. So when you have companies like AMC and AMC being like the catalyst, and that can potentially create a bridge to other larger companies, what you're doing is you're making the um, large organizations, they're pretty much going to become the new whales in the market. So they're going to have the largest amount just because of utility. So people are going to be using them and purchasing and pretty much trading Dogecoin, and they're going to be like the new whales, not just a company buying them and sitting on them to pump and dump the market or throw their coins at the market at any given time just to kind of get like a price reaction. So, and I use the example of, I know I'm kind of speeding through it now, but I made a video on it recently. But so I use the example. So let's say you have Walmart, the Walton family, Amazon, Jeff Bezos, and you have, well, let's just use those two examples. And you'll say, okay, well, and Elon with Tesla, let's say that they're going to sell off all their stocks because they have their net worths are like $200 billion. What's the issue with that? The issue is once you start dumping those into the market, the price is going to plummet. So even though they have these net worths, but because they're so heavily invested into the coin, they're not going to have a desire to do a liquidation just because even if they did, and outside of the conviction they have for their own companies, it would cause a massive um, sell off as far as it cause a massive sell off in the market, but it also cause their stocks that they already hold to be devalued at a faster rate. So what we're going to do is it's better for companies like a AMC to have a wallet because we're trading for movies, and for I don't know, let's just say Amazon to have a wallet because we're trading for stuff on there, and then you will have the opportunity to create these wallets that will have an incentive to not sell off and depreciate their existing coins that they have for monetary gains, at least consecutively all at once, and you'll have them in different sectors, and that will kind of be to our advantage as well. I hope that answers your question. So. Tell you how to develop the patience to be a good investor. You you're going to have to study the charts and the trends and see that you can make money trading. I have stocks that I have stocks that I've held a few days. I don't really scalp, but you can certainly make money. If you become proficient enough, you can certainly make money in the short term. But historically, if you hold certain positions outside of it and you factor in taxes and everything else, if you hold certain positions, you will win in the market. You can factor in inflation, these companies expanding, everything. You're going to have to look at the charts and history to see that holding and being patient in the market and having, especially if you're long term, if you want to have like your entry points, having great entries and accumulation over time. You can even see evidence of this in indexes. So you're going to just look at the market as a whole and look at the companies that if you would have sold your positions, at like a bad time. I made a post about this, I think last week. I think I said that the stock market has survived world wars, COVID-19, terrorist attacks, everything. The only time you would have lost money is if you sold at one of those times. If you would have held, you would have made money. And that's from 1950, 1913, whatever, all the way to today. The market typically appreciates it. We've had a few bad years in there, but overall, the market trends up. And once you know that, you can trade and buy great companies and hold with confidence. So just let that be a factor, but definitely study the charts in the markets. Let's see. Will I give out my short-term plays? Yeah, there's a short-term section on there. It's in the Discord. All right. Thank you, Rain Man. I appreciate you. Do a live post once or twice a week. That's something I have to schedule that in. So, but that's something I can look into. Yeah, I like Shiba. I mentioned that a few times. I think that it'll have a run. I have a small position in there, so I don't have any type of I don't have anything against sheep right now, but it's not one of my larger positions. All right, I'm going to take a few more questions, and then I'm going to go. I only had scheduled like an hour for this. I have another call to get on. What's driving sheep right now? Whenever the market expands greatly like this, I think that it's I, well, it's difficult for me to say it's not institutions, but when you, for the same reasons that we invest, when you say that the institutions are in the market and they control the crypto market, like hedge funds control the stock market, they look at a lot of the same things we do. So if you say, okay, I want to invest in sheep because it's cheap and I can get a lot of them for money. I mean, I can get a lot of sheep for my money and get great returns relatively quickly. Imagine if you had billions of dollars, you would be looking at that same thing too. Like, so it's, because when you say, because you have companies like, when you have situations, and I explain this with Dogecoin. So you have things like Shiba and like Dogecoin, for example. And you say, okay, I like Bitcoin, I like Ethereum. They're, the face of the market. I feel like they're safe. They're not going to go anywhere. Bitcoin has to hit six figures for you to get 100% return. Ethereum, what, $6,000 for you to get 100% return. Dogecoin was at 16 cents. You can hit at 32 cents. That's 100% return. Shiba, it's a lot of zeros in there, but it's not. I think it's already at like 120% this week. So when you have, that's the advantage of the lower caps. It's easier to hit those same returns. It's not necessarily always about the amount, but it's the percentage. That's what you're looking for. That's how you evaluate your portfolio. It's the dollar amount, that the amount of money you make is important. But even if you have a trading portfolio and you went from $100 to $1,000, that's still 10x. The only problem is you didn't have enough money. So they kind of got to have that plays like a factor in there. So when they're looking for the same coins as well. They're gonna, they're in all the chats. They're in the, the Wall Street bets, and they're in the Reddit sections, and they look for things like that. What are the cryptos that have a community? Because the community, and again, I explained this in the cycle video. The community is going to provide a floor for them, and they know that the community, they can kind of get people to, you're always going to have people that are not going to be patient enough to kind of wait or to hold their positions at to buy into their positions at a consolidation point. So they're going to use the community to their benefit to say that they're pretty much going to be our floor. So if the community is going to hold no matter what, we come in, put 10 billion in there, shoot the price of it up, catch some of that FOMO, sell out, and then you'll see the price fall. We saw that this year. We saw $600 billion disappear from Bitcoin, like at the speed of light. You have to understand that when you have this kind of money that flows into the crypto market at the same time, just kind of got to just understand the cycle and where it's coming from, and just be strategic with your entry. So, just kind of keep that in mind when you're looking at these coins, as far as like whether or not they're moving or why they're moving. Just have your conviction and be like long term, they'll appreciate. But in the short term, yeah, it's going to be a lot of ups and downs, and that's why the SEC is looking into it to kind of create some regulations. So just kind of keep that in mind. AMC accepting Dogecoin. Yeah, if you follow Adam Aaron on Twitter, he took a poll a while back. Dogecoin was the largest response he's ever gotten. Elon liked it. Mark Cuban mentioned it, and they're going to look to accept Dogecoin. So that's going to be a major factor going forward. Will payment for order flow be banned? Okay. Martin, excellent question. I don't believe that payment for order flow in itself is a bad thing. I think that if it's because technically the nature of payment for order flow is going to be for faster execution of your trade order, right? Because you don't want to necessarily wait for the order to go to the lit exchange, quote unquote, and pretty much wait for there to be a buyer and a seller because there's always one. So you have the companies that warehouse the stocks, right? This is just for people who don't know what it is. So the problem with payment for order flow is the people that are warehousing the stocks, those have to be two different things. You can't have the people that are warehousing the stock also invest in the market. And I think that it's a lot of the situations that we see here with like the Citadel stuff and all kind of stuff like that. You have Citadel who warehouses the stock, they're doing the payment for order flows, they're giving the brokers kickbacks, they are they're investing in the market actively, and they also own a lot of the parent companies for the clearinghouses. So they're in every sector. You can't like escape them in the market. And I think that just opens the door for manipulation. So payment for order flow, I think that it can exist, but it cannot be it cannot be held or conducted by a company who also has a horse in the race by investing in the market. So those have to be two separate entities, and I think that we need people as far as for watching the companies that are doing the payment for order flow. I think that there's too many that the entire stock market, as far as for hedge funds and their relationship to brokers and to the consumers, I believe that that's too. It operates too much more on the trust me, bro, sentiment. So I think that there has to be more eyes there. There has to be strict punishment, and there has to be, it has to be broken up. Like you can't have, and I used the analogy in my last video. There's a reason why they don't allow sports players to bet on games. It causes a conflict of interest. If you're doing payment from order flow, and I can see your orders coming in, I can, that's pretty much setting them up to front run you. Like if I see, oh, look at this order for 3 million shares of AMC. Before I report those to the lit exchange, why don't I buy some AMC? And then I get in before you put your orders through, the price goes up, and then I sell my orders from underneath you because I got in before you. What's stopping them from doing that all day long? Or even to short a stock before it goes in? Like when you give people access, the same company access to that information before you are able to, when you give people that access to that information, and you're a market maker, it just opens the ground up for manipulation. So I think that as far as for change, that's the major catalyst. And then payment for order flow can exist, but it cannot be done by a market maker and by a company that's simply too big and that has a presence in all areas of the market. So, all right. So I want to thank all of you for coming on to my first live. I appreciate all of you. I'm going to figure out like the kinks and everything, and we'll do this again at some time. So I'll post a comment on my in my community section, just asking for feedback on the live. So just let me know how I did. I appreciate all of you for showing up. So until next time.